Hello and welcome into Cronkite Sports Live. My name's Jacob Rudner. Alongside me, the one and only Alex Gaul. And Alex, if every show's an adventure, I'm excited to work on this one with you.
Well, Jacob, it's actually our first time anchoring together. I know that's hard to believe, but it's a thing.
I know, it's incredible. I'm excited, and we have lots to cover today. And Alex, we'll start with you.
Well, we'll start with ASU women's basketball, of course. They had a 7-game win streak snapped last night after a near buzzer-beating three from UCLA guard Jaime Jaquez. He sent the Devils packing, and reporters Mac Friday and Gabe Swartz are on hand to break down the 75-72 loss and the Devils' late-season hot stretch.
Last night, facing a surging UCLA Bruins squad, the Sun Devils saw their magical 7-game rise from the middle of the Pac12 abruptly end. ASU men's hoops ran rampant on the conference for over 3 weeks with the support of a diverse cast of characters. Two of those characters are the members of the Sun Devils starting backcourt, Remy Martin and Rob Edwards. Martin averaged 18.5 points across the 7-game win streak, and when he had difficulty finding the basket, he had ease finding his teammates for assists. Sharpshooter Rob Edwards was also instrumental in fueling the Sun Devils' ascension to the top of the conference by being a consistent threat from three-point range. His 24 points and 5-for-9 effort from three helped push ASU past Oregon in its biggest win of the streak.
While the production for Martin and Edwards has come all season long, Mickey Mitchell and Alonzo Verge's late surge helped the Sun Devils rise to the top of the conference standings. Mitchell was added to the starting lineup after only playing 2 minutes in the Sun Devils' road loss to Washington State and helped ASU win 7 straight prior to last night's loss to UCLA. Verge is the leader for the Pac-12 Newcomer of the Year award and averaged more than 20 points per game during this streak, despite coming off the bench. Those contributors have helped ASU find an identity and play more consistent basketball as of late.
Now, despite the loss on Thursday, ASU still controls its own destiny for at least a share of the Pac-12 title. But where could the Devils end up in March? Our Tyler Mannion spoke to ESPN bracketologist Joe Lunardi before Thursday's game to find out.
Tyler Mannion here alongside the one and only ESPN Joey Brackets, Joe Lunardi, the bracketologist around town, the only voice that matters in this conversation. So Joe, I'll start you off. The question that all ASU fans want to know, where do you have them slotted right now?
How about this run that they're on? The Sun Devils, to me, they're in all capital letters on the current bracket. So that means they're in first place. They're what we call an AQ, the automatic qualifier. Now that may or may not hold, right? But they're certainly close enough to the top of the Pac-12 that some of the worries that ASU fans went through a year ago at this time maybe a little calmer here coming down the home stretch towards Selection Sunday. So I would say 85% chance or better to see their name on Selection Sunday.
Wow, 85% chance or better for the Sun Devils. All right, so they're pretty safe, 85%. What do they have to do to guarantee their spot in March?
When you're where they are, it's more about avoiding bad losses than it is piling up more good wins. And look, great wins never hurt. But the only way they're going to sink far enough to hear the dreaded NIT words is bad losses. And I would describe that as, losing at home to lesser teams or losing in the Pac-12 tournament, when they're the better seed.
So you think there's that top tier of those three, and then ASU leads that second tier?
I think ASU's kind of in its own tier. I don't think ASU is going to be a bubble team 2 weeks from now.
Wow. That in and of itself is a big statement, no?
Well, I just wanted to give you that exclusive.
Exclusive, heard it here, only and first.
There you go.
ASU will not be a bubble team in 2 weeks. And hey, Sun Devil Nation is looking to be out come March as well. Joe, appreciate your time. For Joe Lunardi, I'm Tyler Mannion, Cronkite Sports.
Our basketball coverage doesn't stop there. Here's our Dominic Stern with a look at the Pac-12 Player of the Year race in this week's Impact.
The regular season is coming to a close in the Pac-12. With just a few games left, it's time to start looking at who could be receiving some Pac-12 hardware. For Men's Coach of the Year, there's 2 candidates. Mick Cronin from UCLA has his Bruins at 18-11 overall and 11-5 in conference play. His competition is ASU's Bobby Hurley. The Sun Devils are currently sitting in 3rd in the Pac-12 standings at 10-5. Arizona State has never won a Pac-12 title, but Hurley has them in a great spot to win it and Coach of the Year. For Player of the Year, there's 2 candidates as well. The 2 candidates are Remy Martin of ASU and Peyton Pritchard of Oregon. Pritchard is the favorite, but Martin has gained some ground during ASU's surge. Pritchard leads the pack in points and assists per game, so Martin needs a strong final week and the Pac-12 title if he wants a shot at the honor. The Women's Player of the Year is almost certain, though. Oregon's Sabrina Ionescu became the first ever college basketball player, male or female, to score 2,000 points, grab 1,000 rebounds, and dish 1,000 assists in their career. She's established herself as one of the greatest college basketball players ever.
Thanks, Dominic. And now moving to ASU women's hockey. They trek up to the mountains this weekend to participate in the WWCHL playoffs in Salt Lake City. The Devils hold the number 2 seed, which is their highest seeding ever, and face Colorado State this afternoon. That one is already underway, but before ASU left for Utah, WCSN mic'd up forward Sheridan Gloyd at practice. Take a look.
You can't see it.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, let's make this a good one.
We gotta keep the footage of you falling down.
Dude, it was such a nice play. Like, I got it on my backhand and then I ate. Hey, are you Abby? Do you go by Abby? Is it Abigail?
It's Abigail, yeah.
We were gonna call you Gail because we already have 2 Abbies. Hope you're okay with that. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, Gail it is. We're calling her Gail.
Wait, and your girl's name is Abby?
No, it's Gail. We renamed her.
Yeah, so she's too many.
She's cool with it, so it doesn't matter. How many goals are you guys going for?
5.
That's it? Are you kidding? They literally have so much time to score 5 goals. Is that their second or third goal?
I think that was their second goal.
What? That's so... Yeah. I definitely kicked that in. Oh my God! Every time! I need to get my skates sharpened. Is that not push-ups?
You like pina coladas?
Oh, that is not what I thought you were gonna say.
Get a caught in the rain. Nice, now you got me in trouble. Join the 10th time today. Devils on 3! 1, 2, 3! Devils!
Arizona State hosted a panel called Journey of the Black Quarterback. Among the star quarterbacks in attendance, Arizona State's Jayden Daniels was also there. Our Peyton Gallagher caught up with Daniels at the event.
There is no progress without struggle. Words from the pen of Frederick Douglass that echo to this day. ASU QB Jayden Daniels did not struggle often in his first year helming the Sun Devils offense. This past week, the young QB got a chance to see just how hard the road has been to get where he is now. As only a sophomore, Jayden Daniels is the face of Arizona State football. These are the faces of the men that made Jayden Daniels possible. Faces of men who crawled, ran, struggled, and overcame so that Daniels could fly. These are the freedom fighters of the black quarterback. This past week, Daniels shared the stage with some of these trailblazers in a panel curated by ESPN's Bill Rhoden. Brushing shoulders with Marlon Briscoe, Shaq Harris, Warren Moon, Doug Williams, and Dwayne Haskins, Daniels got the opportunity to stand with giants.
It was a great experience to be able to be up there with the greats, the legends that set the foundation before us. I mean, it's a surreal moment.
One of those greats is Doug Williams, the first black QB to win a Super Bowl. Williams, who was also a part of the panel, fought his whole career to achieve equality under center. He hopes Daniels can take something away from this experience.
You know, I kind of envy the young guy because, you know, I wish I had an opportunity when I was his age to be on the stage with guys that had played in the league and just listen to some of the stories, you know. But to be out in a situation like this, just to hear some of the things that we all had to say, and for him to be able to take it in, to me, there's nowhere in the world that he shouldn't just soak up all that and say, you know what, I want to be like those guys.
I'm very, very grateful that I had the opportunity to go up there and really talk with these guys, listen to the experience that they've been through, and just gain the knowledge from them and always have that connection with them from now on.
For the forefathers that came before him, their eyes turn to Jayden now. It's the kids' turn to carry the torch. Daniels is part of a new generation of black QBs that are redefining how quarterback is played. He's certainly well on his way to putting his own mark on the position.
ASU Gymnastics had a historic weekend. For more on their accomplishments, here's our Rachel Phillips.
In a rare night for college gymnastics, ASU performed exceptionally to tie 196.875 with number 13 Washington. Coach Jay Santos put their season-high performance down to one of this week's themes: momentum.
I really think they did a great job of that today, just coming out with a lot of energy and then just building off each other as they performed.
Junior Kyra Leonard Baker bounced back from an ongoing ankle injury to lead the efforts in emphatic fashion. She produced a 9.9 on vault and floor and a 9.95 on bars, with some even calling for a 10. The latter marked the best score by any ASU gymnast on any event this season, and all three went down as season highs for Leonard Baker.
It just took a little time to get through it and build back to what she's capable of doing. So, again, being at this point of the year where we're seeing that performance again out of her is great.
Freshmen Gracie Reeves, Hannah Scharf, and Isabel Redmond all scored career highs of their own. Reeves and Scharf put up best on beam and bars respectively, and tied with a 39.35 in all around. Redmond scored a career high on beam, while all three notched highs on vault, contributing to the team total 49.275, ASU's highest event score of the season.
We're, 2/3 of the way through the season at this point. They've got a lot of experience under their belt, and I think it's really starting to show in how they're performing, how they're preparing every week.
14 was the magic number for ASU on Sunday, because it's been 14 years since ASU have scored this high of a team total. The first 14 gymnasts also scored 9.8 or above, and Jay Santos knows this is just the beginning.
Coming off of this energy, we can just really hit our stride and just hit some meets in a row and just really finish out the year.
The Devils will hope to keep the momentum going when they travel to the Bay Area to take on number 25 Stanford on March 2nd. Rachel Phillips, Cronkite Sports.
At Cronkite Sports, we pride ourselves on the ability to report with creativity. Our Tyler Mannion took that to the extreme when he stepped into the world of collegiate gymnasts, walked the balance beam, and conducted an interview at the same time.
Tyler Mannion here with ASU freshman gymnast Hannah Scharf. We're going to be trying to balance on these beams here, talking a little bit today. We'll see how it goes. Whoop. Why is getting on harder than I thought it was going to be? Oh, goodness. Okay, we're up. We're up. The hardest thing is over. Okay.
Why am I nervous right now? Why I'm nervous?
So, obviously this thing is, it's really small, right?
Yeah.
So, why is this so difficult? What makes beam such a challenge?
Well, it's only 4 inches. And you're doing turns and flips and you have to land. There's just no room for error. And it's really dangerous too, because if you miss your foot, it hurts. So, yeah.
So, speaking of missing a foot, right?
Yeah.
When you're on this, you do some kind of jump, and then, oh no, you fall, right?
Yeah.
What's the mindset like to get back onto the beam?
So you really just have to put it out of your mind, because you still have the rest of the routine to do. So you just have to put it out of your mind, refocus, regroup, slow it down, because you have to finish strong. So.
Okay, so you're going to finish strong.
Yeah.
What's your favorite trick that you do when you're, walking on the beam? You get over here. I see you all tap your toes and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? What's your favorite trick that you do up here?
My favorite is probably my series, which is handspring layout.
Handspring layout.
Yeah.
Can you walk me through what that's like?
So you're going backwards.
Okay.
So you swing your arms, you go backwards onto your hands, come onto your feet, push through your feet, no handed flip, and then you step out.
Boom. Big finish.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Tyler has much better balance than I do. But now moving to baseball, behind the strong bat of Spencer Torkelson and company, ASU baseball got back on track with a 3-game sweep of Boston College last weekend. But their most exciting game of the season happened Tuesday. That's when the Devils drew a walk-off walk to beat New Mexico State. Our Jack Lauderay has the recap of Tuesday's extra innings victory.
With lots of questions answered against Boston College, the Devils walked back into Muni with a newfound purpose and another powerhouse offense from New Mexico State entering in. The game was built to be a showdown between sluggers Spencer Torkelson and Nick Gonzalez, but instead of combining for hits and homers, they combined for walks, 7 to be exact, with Tork walking 5 times, tying an ASU record.
I would walk him too. I wouldn't throw to him. I mean, he's the best hitter in the nation, and I understand what they were doing. I mean, but Trevor's right behind him, and Trevor's pretty dang good too. So, yeah, it's crazy.
In fact, the game didn't really even take off until the 8th inning. With a 2-0 lead in favor of the Devils, New Mexico State clawed back, taking a 3-2 lead. The Devils responded immediately, with Alika Williams driving a ball into the outfield to plate 2, along with another run to get ASU back to the lead. The Aggies tied it up again in the 9th, and the game headed into extra innings. That's where the Devils worked the bases loaded to bring Trevor Hauver to the plate, where he would walk in the go-ahead run to give ASU the win. A messy, crazy game for the Devils, but Skip was more proud than anything else.
I'd much rather be going home a lot earlier, but it's good to see a little bit of adversity where you think you've got the game, you cough it up because of your own miscues, but still have the maturity to, fight through that and get some big hits and win a baseball game, which is, I think, the goal. So, I was proud of the way the guys battled back even after a couple miscues there late.
The Devils now shift their attention to the weekend series against Nebraska. Reporting in Phoenix Municipal Stadium, Jack Lauderay, Cronkite Sports.
The Sun Devils continue their non-conference schedule tonight at home against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. You can keep up with the action by following Jack and the rest of our coverage on CronkiteSports.com. Last week, Yahoo Sports' Pete Thamel reported that former Arizona State Associate Athletic Director David Cohen filed an 11-page notice of claim, a precursor to the filing of a lawsuit, to multiple state agencies in Arizona. In the claim, Cohen details the encounters of 3 wives of members of the ASU athletic department, including his own, and alleges that Bart Ware, an ASU booster, harassed them. According to Thamel's article, the school said in a statement released to Yahoo Sports that an outside investigation determined the boosters subjected the 3 women to unwelcome comments and physical contact. ASU has since canceled Ware's season tickets and informed him he is no longer welcome at university events. Arizona State University officials have acknowledged that allegations and athletic boosters allegedly harassed 3 women married to members of the athletic department, quote, could have been resolved in a quicker time frame.
Now to some more jarring news this week. An ASU wrestling star and 2-time national champion, Saheed Valencia, was suspended indefinitely from the program for failing a drug test. According to the Arizona Republic, Valencia tested positive for a recreational drug, not a performance-enhancing drug. Without Valencia, ASU lost their final regular season dual match 22-9 to North Carolina. Valencia's status for the NCAA championships in March and the U.S. Olympic trials in April is still uncertain.
Pac12 women's swimming championships are underway, and Arizona State has been wildly successful thus far. Distance swimmer Emma Norden crushed the 500 freestyle in a time of 4:33.74. The swim was the fastest in the country, an ASU program record, Norden's personal best, and an NCAA championships A-cut time. ASU's Sierra Runge finished 3rd in the event. ASU's 800 freestyle relay finished 4th with a time of 6:58.09 and set a new school record and finished 4th in the 400 medley relay. ASU is currently in 5th place with 2 days of swimming remaining.
Back to the hardwood we go to talk some ASU women's basketball. The Devils split a road set with the Mountain Schools last weekend, beating Colorado and falling to Utah. Now ASU returns to Tempe today to begin their final regular season weekend against the Bay Area schools. And for a preview of that weekend, we sent it out to Tempe to reporter Chris Ferendorf, who is at Desert Financial Arena. Chris?
With 2 games left on ASU's schedule, and both here at Desert Financial Arena, surprisingly a lot is on the line. First on Friday, the Sun Devils will take on a struggling Cal team. The Golden Bears have only won 2 Pac-12 games this year and only have 1 player on the team averaging double digits in points in Jaylen Brown. Then on Sunday, Arizona State will be tested once again as they take on the number 4 team in the country in Stanford. As for what's at stake in these 2 games, if the season ended today, ASU would be the number 5 seed in the Pac-12 tournament. And depending on how this weekend goes, best case scenario, they could move up to 4, or worst case, drop to as low as a 6 seed. As for the NCAA tournament, ESPN currently has ASU as a 6 seed, but if they were able to sweep this weekend and upset Stanford, they could potentially rise to as high as a 4 seed. If they dropped both, ASU could drop to as low as a 7 or 8 seed. Either way, this weekend is very important for the ASU women's basketball team's future.
Yeah, Chris, this weekend is huge for the Sun Devils, both on and off the court. We now bring in studio analyst Griffin Peters. And Griffin, ASU hosts Senior Day on Sunday. What is the impact of this year's senior class?
Yeah, Alex, this year's ASU senior class is a special one. 4 out of the 5 seniors start for the number 24 Sun Devils. Riley Richardson, Jatavia Tapley, Robbie Ryan, and Kiara Russell. Jamie Rudin, the only non-starter, is a crucial part of the Sun Devil second unit. ASU's top 4 scorers are also all seniors: Tapley, Ryan, Richardson, and Rudin. This group will be missed next year. Tapley, the senior transfer from USC, is the team's leading scorer. Richardson has been the team's big shot maker and just became the program's all-time assist leader. Ryan is a microwave scorer who can change the game at any time with their offense. Russell is a defensive X factor, and Rudin is a big that is crucial for rebounding and can stretch the floor with her range. This weekend will be the final time that these 5 women take the court at Desert Financial Arena, but their impact on the program will be remembered forever.
Thank you so much, Griffin. And of course, a big weekend ahead for this senior class in Charlie Turner Thorne. They tip with California at 8 p.m. tonight on Pac-12 Network.
Arizona State softball is off to a great start at 12-5, but they've had a few roller coaster games this season. Freshman Alina Torres has been critical to the Sun Devils' success.
Transition plan was for Alina to play shortstop, and so when we made a change, obviously that was kind of a good fit, and it kind of, for me, it's been neat to see Alina kind of really own it, and she's like, yeah, like that's me, that's my spot, like let's get after it. So
she has one goal, it's World Series, and she's going to do everything she can to help this team get there, no matter what it is. She has to lay out here, do this. She's going to put in her extra reps, and I believe in her. She's strong.
She's a freshman, but I don't think she has a mentality of being a senior. Yeah. Like, she knows what she's doing out there, so it's gonna look like she's been here for a while, which she hasn't, but she's definitely learned a lot.
It's gonna be fun to watch her. Yeah, I'm excited.
Now joining us at the desk is WCSN softball reporter Jordan Spurgeon. Jordan, what inconsistencies have you seen from the Sun Devils that they need to clean up before they get into Pac-12 play?
Well, Jacob, inconsistencies could be a strong word. Like we said earlier, this team is 12-5. The one thing I've noticed with this Sun Devil softball team, though, they rely a lot on the long ball, so they're not hitting a lot of doubles, and when they get runners in scoring position on second and third, they're really having a tough time being able to get those little base hits, those ground balls through the 5-6 hole, the 3-4 hole, in order to bring in more runs, especially when they're trailing against tougher competition come Pac-12 play. That could really come back to haunt them, so they're going to want to continue to work on the small ball game a little bit in order to have continued success.
We just saw how great of a start freshman Alina Torres has had through 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Is this something that we can continue to expect from her moving forward?
Well, in baseball and softball, there's a saying, hitters can hit. It doesn't matter what level they are at. So she hit over 600 in high school, 653 as a senior, never hit below 500 in her 4 years in varsity in high school. This season, she's hitting .393 with 7 home runs. She's knocked in 20 RBIs, all those leading the Sun Devils this season. And this is just the tip of the iceberg for her. I think she's going to continue to get better. I'm not saying she's going to hit .393 every single year in college, but she's going to continue to hit more doubles. She's going to walk a little bit more, strike out a little bit less. And I think that Alina Torres, we're just seeing the start here for her in her Sun Devil career.
Well, for more of Jordan's content and the rest of our softball coverage, head on over to cronkitesports.com.
ASU men's hockey wrapped up their regular season schedule last weekend in the Midwest against the Wisconsin Badgers. Despite scoring 8 goals, the Devils left Wisconsin without a victory. WCSN reporters Mike McQuaid and Allie Krusniak were in Madison for the story.
The Sun Devils travel to Madison for their final series of the regular season, while they'll take on Wisconsin, whose roster includes 12 NHL prospects and a record that doesn't quite match up to the skill the team has.
The first game of the weekend was the highest scoring game ASU had played in all season. The two teams scored 13 goals combined, and it was Josh Maniscalco who started things off in the first 29 seconds of the game for the Sun Devils. Wisconsin proceeded with 2 back-to-back goals from Rowan Ashan, but Johnny Walker scored to send the teams tied 2-2 going into the second. To start the second, Ryder Donovan scored off another breakout of the box, something head coach Greg Powers knew was a Badger strength.
If you get in the track meet and you want to exchange odd man rushes with a team that's skilled, nobody in the country is going to beat them, right? You got to make it a little harder on them to put the puck in the net, and we didn't do it tonight.
Scoring continued with another Wisconsin goal, followed by ASU's best stretch of play on the night with 3 consecutive goals. Jordan Sandu went top shelf. Walker had his second goal of the night, followed by an assist where Vito Janssen struck on a rebound. Wisconsin continued to persevere with 2 more goals in the third, giving them a 6-5 lead over the Sun Devils, proving their speed and skill again and again. Brinson Pashnuk tied it up, making it 6-6 with 7:31 remaining in regulation, but Ashan struck again and last. He notched his first career hat trick and a Badger win to head into senior night.
We're one of the highest scoring teams in the country, but you know, we pride ourselves on being a little harder to play against defensively than we were tonight.
With tensions high for both teams, we send it over to Mike McQuaid for Game 2.
Thank you, Allie. Greg Powers and his squad ending the regular season on the Badgers senior night. Here at the Kohl Center, it's going to be an electric atmosphere. The Badgers struck first early in the first period with 2 goals by Lindmark and Caulfield, going into the second with a 2-0 lead. Instead of taking a step forward, the Sun Devils took a step back in the second period. Wisconsin found the back of the net twice. ASU's frustration led to a scuffle that had Jacob Semick ejected from the game and Tyler Bush with a dirty hit to join Semick in the locker room. But head coach Greg Powers noted that penalty minutes haven't been a prevalent problem this year.
Been one of the most disciplined teams in the country over the last 2 months, and tonight was just, it didn't go our way. It was every call that I agree with, absolutely not.
Steen Pashnuk finally got the Sun Devils on the board late in the second period to provide a little bit of hope for the third. But in the third period, it was the same story, with the Badgers' assistant captain Max Zimmer to put it away. Powers attributed their sloppy performance to a rigorous second-half schedule.
We've been down, like you said before, and we just couldn't climb out of it tonight. It wasn't our night. It's that simple. And our guys have played 13 straight weeks. They're tired, you know, and we've had a hell of a second half. It just wasn't exactly the best team to end a 13-week stretch against. They're young and they're fast and they're skilled, and they got the best of us.
The Sun Devils were a man down 42 minutes out of 60 here tonight, losing 6-2 and swept out of Madison. From the Kohl Center, Mike McQuaid and Allie Krusniak, Cronkite Sports.
ASU now awaits their Frozen Four fate as the tournament field is selected in 3 weeks on March 22nd. Now, Jacob, it is time for the way it is. 3 questions, robust debate, and the winner gets to rant. So, Jacob, true or false, the Sun Devils will finish atop of the Pac-12 regular season standings?
You know, I would have said true if you asked me this before last night, but with ASU's loss to UCLA, I don't necessarily think they're going to win the regular season in the Pac-12. They still have a shot in the tournament. They still might get a first-round bye, but I don't necessarily think that they have what it takes to win the conference in the regular season, especially after last night's loss.
So what people like you don't realize, Jacob, is that this team still controls their own destiny for at least getting a share of the Pac-12 title. All they've got to do is win 3 games, and they get at least a share of the Pac-12 title. I think they're going to do so I say true.
Alex, I want to know from you who has been the most valuable player for ASU women's basketball this season.
It's got to be Riley Richardson. She's averaging almost 10 points a game, and she's one of the best assist-to-turnover ratios in the Pac-12 conference. 2.52 right now is her assist-to-turnover ratio. She's a good player. She stepped up this season to take the big shots when the team has needed them, and she's made the game-winning shots this season. If a player like that isn't an MVP of the team, then I don't know what it is.
Well, Alex, two of the Sun Devils' most critical wins this season, Oregon and Oregon State. Who was their best performer? Robbie Ryan. I think that she is the MVP of the season. She is consistent. Charlie Turner-Thorne has talked about her effort level. She loves the way that she plays defense. She's a good shooter. I'm going to have to go with Robbie Ryan.
Plain and simple, Jacob. Riley Richardson does more for this team, and I can tell you that. Okay. But moving on, which ASU team is going to have the most luck in March this season? It's St. Patrick's Day, so which team you got?
I don't know that it's going to be luck, but I think it's skill. I'm going to have to go with ASU baseball. They wrap up their non-conference schedule. They break into conference play. I think that this is a team that's going to get hot at the right time. They have the talent. They have the players to do it. So I'm going to go with Tracy Smith and ASU baseball.
So I'm going to go with Bobby Hurley and the Sun Devils, actually. I think they're going to have a really good March now. How far they go in March, I guess I can't say they'll go all the way to the Final Four, but I think they're going to have a really good March. I think they're going to prove a lot of people wrong, people like you, Jacob, and I think they're going to get all the way towards the finals of the Pac-12 tournament, get into the tournament field in the NCAA as well.
Well, it sounds like you are picking winners, and I think I'm going to win this. So if you're such a good predictor, then you should say Jacob will win the way it is. Go ahead, say it.
I am going to win the way it is.
That's wrong. I think he's wrong. Oh boy, I was right. 3 weeks ago, I sat at this desk and looked into that camera and talked for roughly a minute about Bobby Hurley and the Arizona State men's basketball team. I said they needed to be more consistent and how their offensive play was thoroughly inadequate if they wanted to win the Pac-12. Well, the Sun Devils served me a slice of humble pie since I last spoke about them. And in true retraction fashion, I want to talk about everything Hurley and his squad have already done to prove me wrong. Since my speech, ASU went on a 7-1 run, momentarily sat in the throne of the Pac-12 Conference, and vaulted themselves into a position where they could conceivably earn a first-round bye in the Pac-12 tournament. ASU found its stride offensively in the form of junior guard Alonzo Verge, who, for a stretch of time, averaged more points per game than Pac-12 leading scorer Peyton Pritchard. Remy Martin pushed the Sun Devils past the pack with his scoring and ball distribution, and ASU's one constant, its defense, has remained with it throughout its thunderous run to the top of the conference. ASU's season has not been perfect, and another hurdle was thrown in its path for the regular season in the conference play with its loss to UCLA last night in Los Angeles. However, one thing is certain. Hurley has hammered out my statements and those of many others with a season hardly anyone expected. And that's the way it is.
All right, Jacob, moving into top plays. Number 3, we go out to the softball diamond. It's Farrington Stadium, and it's Alina Torres and Maddie Hackbarth. First, we're going. It's Maddie Hackbarth deep to the left center field fence. That's over for a grand slam, but she will not be topped. She will actually be topped on the next batter, as Alina Torres is going to come out as well, and she will get it done as well with a solo shot. ASU goes back-to-back, Hackbarth and Torres for the number 3 play of the week.
Alex, you know what they say? Speed kills, but in this case, so does being sneaky. Gage Workman on third base, left-handed pitcher on the mound. What does he do? He tries to swipe home, whoop, dodges the catcher, slides in safe. They can't get the tag down, and Gage Workman steals home. Not so sure you see that very often, but Gage Workman was able to make it happen against Boston College. ASU won that game and the series. They got the sweep.
Number 1 going back to DFA on the bars. It is a great Kyra Leonard-Baker run there, a full-in dismount. She sticks it. It's the highest score for an ASU gymnast this year. It's the highest team score since 2008. That's a great number 1 play, Jacob.
It sure was a great play. Alex, you know what else was great? This show. We really put it together. It was an awesome time. A great first time hosting with you. I had a great time.
And you got the way it is reader as well.
Yeah, and you know what? I expected it, and I expected a great show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Cronkite Sports Live. For Alex Gaul, for everybody in the studio, my name's Jacob Rudner. Have a good week. We'll see you next time.